Guten Erev Shabbos. Last week we spoke about the crisis of trust that exists in society. People have simply lost faith in institutions, in leaders, and even in one another. How do we begin to rebuild that trust? One of the core elements research shows that brings trust is benevolence, showing true care and concern, genuine concern for another person, which brings us to this week's parsha, this week's Torah portion, where the Torah instructs us to be charitable. As the pasuk says, if there's a needy person amongst you, says you shouldn't harden your heart, but rather pasayach tiftach, you should open up your heart and give everything that he's lacking. So this is the idea of being charitable, showing care for the other person. You know, there's a story told that someone once came to the Alter Rebbe, and he said to the Alter Rebbe, I don't give charity with sincerity. I'm doing it for ulterior motives. To which the Alter Rebbe said, you may not give it with sincerity, but the poor person definitely receives it with sincerity. Now, tzedakah is not only about writing a check. Of course, giving financial support is critical, but there's another dimension to tzedakah, and let me explain. The Talmud relates the following story. Rabbi Yehuda Yosef Kamei de Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda was sitting in front of his teacher Shmuel, and a woman came and began to complain about certain needs that she had. But he was not paying attention to her. Amar Lei, so the student, Rabbi Yehuda, said to Shmuel, don't you believe in this which it states, that whoever stops his ears at the cry of the poor, he also should cry himself and not be heard? To which Shmuel responded, he said, hold on, there's Mar Ukva, he is the president of the court, and that's his responsibility to deal with her. Interesting, the Gemara relates in Baba Basra the following story. It says Rabbi Yosef fell ill, and he had a out-of-body experience. When he came back, when he healed, his father said to him, what did you experience there? He says, Olam hapach, I saw things that were inverted. Those who were insignificant in this world were more important there. Those who were significant in this world were insignificant there. And then he says, and I saw Shmuel, the teacher, sitting in front of Rabbi Yehuda. Why did he see Shmuel sitting in front of Rabbi Yehuda? Clearly because Rabbi Yehuda's position that Shmuel was wrong by ignoring this woman was the correct one. You see, because when it comes to charity, it's not just providing them with financial support, but just being there to listen. So even though Mar Ukva in that story was the one who was responsible to provide her for her needs, nonetheless, the fact is that he could have listened to her and showed empathy and showed care, showed some benevolence, and that would have been a form of charity and would have definitely helped her. So when we show benevolence, when we open our ears to the cry of another, we not only help them, we also begin to restore something which is severely, the world desperately needs, the idea of trust. Have a wonderful Shabbos.